Meditation, A Beginner's Guide by Charlotte Parnell. Originally titled Seeing the Wider Picture. To those who do not practice it, meditation can seem culturally alien and a bit mysterious. Yet many people who don't meditate in any formal way have experienced a meditative state without realizing it. There is a growing body of evidence to suggest that meditation is good for you, particularly during periods of increased stress. Meditation, A Beginner's Guide, helps to demystify the meditation by making the actual practice more accessible. Through a series of 10 simple to follow exercises, the book offers step by step guidance on how to meditate. By practicing the exercises, you will begin to access a different dimension and attain a new perspective on what's going on, both in your life and beyond it. Even more experienced meditators will find spiritual refreshment through the simple steps provided. So relax and close your eyes. Through meditation, you may have them open to what the author calls the wider picture. Part 1, Seeing the Wider Picture. The title of this part is significant for many reasons. It was chosen for me. These words were said to me by someone special about something completely different, but they resonated such a deep chord within me that my whole being shook. They were said not once, but twice in such a way that I could never forget them. I had never heard the phrase before. These very words kicked my rebirth into the light. Not only did these words start the transformation of my whole life, but their significance became more and more clear as time went by. He was meant to say them. I was meant to hear them. They were meant to ring and ring ever louder in my ears. The context in which they were meant was that I had to consider the wider picture, the consequences of my actions. But what in fact occurred was more fundamental. I was mortified and I was hit at a very low point in my life. I was taken to the very edge of my existence and could take no more. It was from this point that slowly it was revealed to me that the picture was wider still. That picture becomes ever wider and wider. Sometimes we have to be plunged into the darkness in order that we may see the wider picture. It is only in this extreme that we reach out and the unseen hand waiting ever patiently to haul us out. The process of my own rebirth is an extraordinary story and probably the subject of a later book, where the reader will see how the jigsaw puzzle of my life's experience had been already cut for me and how it was helped put together by by this unseen hand. It is the purpose of this book to help you find this unseen hand without plummeting to the depths of despair as I have done, to enable you to understand and realize for yourself that there really is more to life than what your physical eyes can see and what your physical ears can hear. This is the wider picture, and out there is all the help you need. It is no good or others telling you this without you experiencing it for yourself. However much you may be open to new ideas, I cannot offer you any scientific evidence. Man needs to experience in order to learn. It is so easy to merely accept that this is all there is, that the physical life is everything and all there ever will be, that when we are dead, that's it. In a way, it is comfortable. It explains nothing. It is easy. We do not have to strive, save for physical pleasures or material things. Science explains everything we need to know. It has become our philosopher and guide to understanding all things. Deep within ourselves, however, And usually at time of crisis, we question this. Why did so and so happen, etc. And we are brought to question the very meaning of life. For some, this crisis may be a catalyst for our search, and for others, once the crisis has passed, they soon find it easier to accept it as it was just a coincidence, just a quirk of fate, or they find other answers acceptable and the search stops. We have free will. For some, that search can lead to embracing different philosophies or religions, or simply a complete change of lifestyle. For me, I looked within, and there lay the answers. They were always there. They were always within me. I recognized them. It was there, within, that the wider picture was revealed to me. It was through meditation and the waking up to my own intuition that changed my life and changed my outlook on life and my understanding of it. It enabled me to have greater control of my life. To use a rather tired, cliche, but admittedly perfect phrase, it brought self-empowerment. It was an absolute revelation. Not only this, but I soon began to see with my inner eyes, and hear with my inner ears. I became aware of a world I could not perceive with my physical senses. Meditation helped me to shut them down so that I could discover this world, a world as real as this one, the spiritual world. I found that the physical plane is not the only plane in which we exist. That part of us which is here on earth has often been described as the lower self, and that part of us which remains in the spirit as the higher self, our sense, our intuition, the existence of which we often acknowledge and sometimes ignore, is our constant bridge between these two worlds. In the discipline of meditation, we can build another bridge. We can access the spiritual world of which we always remain apart from within. The spiritual world is a world of light. I have discovered through meditation that we are basically beings of light. We have acknowledged this concept. We sometimes see the light in people's eyes, particularly when they are in love, or sense the light around them, especially saintly, special people who radiate light the more they give light to others. We even have a saying, he has seen the light. To those who acknowledge truth, we often hear mention of the R's these days, the light and color around people, and it is something we often perceive on a physical level. We can sense that people have an aura about them that we either like or dislike. When you shut your eyes in meditation and gradually develop this discipline, you will be amazed at the light within. People who are full of light are usually those full of love. Meditation is a perfect vehicle for. Within it, we learn to connect with the divine light, which is a healing energy, which is love, to heal those parts of our physical and emotional and mental selves, and indeed to direct outwards to others. It would be easy to reject all this is as a figment of my imagination. But if it is what an imagination, you too can join in and have a wonderful time also. However, I cannot reject it as this. I have been shown this and much more, and have been constantly surprised by yet totally at ease with the revelations given to me in meditation and by listening to and being aware of my intuition. Join me on this journey of discovery, of self-discovery, of healing, of self-empowerment. It is relaxing, it is exciting, and it is good for you. All the exercises have been given to me either within my own meditation or by spiritual teachers here on this physical plane. By thanks go to them all. None of them have I sat down and consciously made up. They are simple and special and were always meant for me to have shared with you, to help you. They will help you to see a wider picture. This is not a book about the spiritual teaching that has been given to me, which makes the picture wider and wider. But how you can begin to see beyond the horizon of our physical world for yourself, it is intended to be a simple manual to help get you started on your way. Above all, I hope you enjoy doing the exercises in this book. They are given to you with love. Part 2, the background. At the beginning, before you start the meditation exercises in part 3, read this part first and also part 1 if you have not done so already. Journal. Start today. Go out and buy yourself a pad of lined paper and start writing. You need to keep a journal, not a diary of appointments, but a proper journal of your daily thoughts and feelings and whatever happens to you that day. In it, you can record after each meditation what happened or what thoughts or feelings came through. Meditations are like dreams, so quickly and easily forgotten. Write down the day and date for each entry. It sounds so obvious, but I will to do this at the beginning, and I gradually realized it was quite important when looking back at things I had written, not only to identify the dates, but so I could see more clearly at a later stage how events had emerged. If you make several entries during the course of a day, just leave a gap of a line, say, to show it was a separate entry for that day. Start by writing down the trivia of the day, what you are going to do that day, what is happening, any thoughts, any feelings you want to record or just let go of, or even something like Thursday, 3rd June, I feel a fool writing this, but I thought I'd give it a go and see what happens. I have to go to the dentist tomorrow and I am dreading it. I hate needles, etc. Anything. It may not seem very mind-blowing for a while, but keep at it. And anyway, you will probably come to enjoy it. You may begin to bring out negative feelings that are festering inside, anger or dislike for someone or something, either today or in the past. Writing them down helps get them into perspective, helps you to look at them and deal with them. They are better out than in, and maybe emotional blocks you need to clear so you can go forward. You may find yourself writing about someone you love or something you wish to achieve or what you feel about something that happened in your past or just that you forgot to put the cat out. It does not matter so long as you start the discipline of writing daily about your thoughts and feelings. It does not matter if you miss a day or two. so long as you get back to it as soon as possible and try to record anything significant that happened in the days you lost. It also does not matter what time of day you do it. I used to write last thing at night when everyone else was in bed and I was unlikely to be disturbed. It was a way of unwinding, relaxing, being in tune with myself, and sorting out my problems. Why do this? We live life so fast that there is no time for reflection, for stillness. It is at moments of quiet that we begin to hear the still, small voices. In keeping a journal, you set aside time for you. It makes space for you to contact yourself, the real you inside. You give yourself permission to express yourself and get your feelings, and it is the most powerful method I know of you accessing your intuition. You will be amazed at what comes out. After a while, you may begin to notice a change in tone in your writing. You may perhaps start writing quite quickly so that your pen can hardly keep up with what starts to pour out from you. You will find answers coming from within to the questions or problems in your life. If you have a question, write it down, ask, and ask for the question to be answered within a short time, if necessary. Once I was so desperate, I asked for the answer within the next 10 minutes. It came within 5, and I knew it was right. Sometimes you will write the answer down. Sometimes you will find yourself drawn to the answers in astonishing ways. For example, you have a book you may have bought but not yet read, and you want to pick it up. You open it, and your eye is immediately drawn to the answer. There it is, staring at you. It has happened to me over and over again. Because of this, I have had the confirmation that it works. It cannot be coincidence. I would be a fool to doubt it. I never fully believed in coincidence. Even as a child, it seemed a glib expression for phenomenal events. I cannot now accept it as a concept. Maybe man's understanding of life and the meaning of his existence would be richer had the word coincidence never been thought of. One of the first times I really noticed this bridge was a month after those words, the wider picture, were said to me. I had just started to write my journal a fortnight before, and an extraordinary series of events led me to go on a day's workshop on intuition by Dr. Christine Page. That is another story, but everything in it was confirmation of what I had come to realize myself. I felt I had to buy her book, The Mirror of Existence, which I can highly recommend, and I did not open it until later that evening when I suddenly felt I had to look at it. I opened the book for the first time at page 118, at no other page, and what were the first words my eyes saw? Those 3 words, the wider picture. I could not believe it. There were the words again, the ones that had sent me spinning into a vortex of misery a few weeks before. How they resonated for me. Dr. Page had said during her workshop, know that your eye is drawn to what you need to see. Those words were also bringing me out into the light. I want to sing and dance and tell everyone. I knew then that I was connecting with something phenomenal, but there was more, much more to come. And now I am no longer astonished by such events where others would be. It's just one example, so it will happen to you. You might be moved to switch on the television or radio, and at that moment, there is a relevant feature on a program you need to see or hear. Another example for me was that on another occasion, I was desperately worried about something and had been chewing it up over that day, and I was becoming more anxious about it. It was preying on my mind as I was driving home from school with the children when a car took me on a dangerous bend. It had to pull in quickly, close in front of me, and there emblazoned on its back were the words, "No fear." I had to laugh. They were the words I had to see, and of course, the problem was soon solved, and I need not have feared. Asking your intuition brings a new awareness, a new dimension to your life. You may begin to feel less lonely, more in control. You may begin to understand and appreciate the positive side of loneliness, to see the wider picture, that within even that loneliness, there is a lesson in the power and wisdom of silence. That from this state comes endurance and strength and wisdom and deep inner peace, and the realization that you are not alone and that we are all one in spirit. You may begin to see more of the jigsaw puzzle of your life and start to make more sense of it. You may become more aware of how connected we all are. Seeing, for example, how the phone rang when you were only just thinking about someone, and that someone was the person ringing you. It certainly made me realize that people are brought into my life for a reason, to reflect some aspect of my life that I needed to deal with, perhaps, or to bring some other lesson I need to learn, or to help me change something. Writing a journal is a daily discipline. It helps you to set aside time for yourself, and you will need to do this in meditation. It takes practice to allow time for yourself. You will find you will enjoy this writing discipline as you will the discipline of daily meditation. Of course, there will be days when you cannot, for various reasons, find the time to write or meditate, but you will want to get back to it. It is not necessary to fix a time of the day when you will do your journal or meditation. But if you are an organized person, you might find that it helps you to remember to do it and to organize everything else around it so that nothing will interfere with it. Above all, do not stressed out by it as one more thing to remember in an already busy life. Accept the days when you cannot do it. There may be a reason for it, but try to get back to it as soon as you can. Having said all this about journal writing, if you do not feel you want to write at all, don't. You may not feel it right for you now or at all. I do, however, think you would increase your awareness by doing so. As a bottom line, though, do write down any thoughts or feelings or whatever impressions you have immediately after meditation. I've already indicated you forget so quickly you think you will remember them, but sometimes they are like dreams, soon forgotten. The thoughts that come to you in meditation may not seem significant at first, but writing them down may help you later on. The exercise will also help you discern those thoughts that are mind created and those that come from your higher self. It is a simple but important exercise. Above all, trust your feelings. You may feel something to be right instinctively, whether generally or in your writing or meditation. Learn to trust that self. What is meditation? I would describe it as a state of being in harmony with ourselves and the world around us. It is a state of harmonious silence. It need not be a state which you enter only if you sit in a certain position with all the paraphernalia that surrounds the practice. You do not need all of this. They are options. You can do it anywhere, even on the loo. Neither is it a mystery. You may have already experienced being in a meditative state without even realizing you have, and without formally calling it anything other than feeling at peace. For example, when you were walking out in the countryside or being lost in a beautiful piece of music, nor did the mind be emptied of all thought as it is post. Often thoughts will come to you in the quiet and stillness from your higher self. Meditation can also be constructive, not merely passive. It is a training method to control thoughts. It is a time in which we can build, create by directing thought. How often should I meditate? Try to do it every day. Like the journal, do not get stressed if you cannot do it, but try to set a time for yourself each day for this. It is a bit like learning to play an instrument or a sport. The more you practice, the easier it becomes, and the more you enjoy it. But it is not a regimen. It is a pleasure. I do not think it matters what time of the day you choose. Although if you do it later in the evening, perhaps the more likely you are to drop off to sleep. I fit it in whenever I can, when I know I am less likely to be hassled. With my young children around, I either have to wait until they are asleep or at school or whatever. When I started, there was no point in fixing a time, and I did not want to feel under pressure to achieve yet another goal in an already stressed out life. Furthermore, do not worry if you can only spare 5 minutes rather than half an hour or an hour. It does not matter. Sometimes that mere 5 minutes can refresh you or give you something more profound than a longer period. And that short time can feel like much longer. The atmosphere for meditation. Do not get hung up about getting the atmosphere right. I have meditated in the most unlikely settings and still enjoyed it. If you have the time and money and you think it will help you, then perhaps consider buying some relaxing music. It is not necessary, but there did come a time when I needed to do this. I felt it was right. When the tape came to an end, it would remind me of the time and I would prepare to come out of meditation. I often like to meditate outside in the sunshine, feeling the warmth of the sun on the back of my neck. Fresh air, if warm and not distracting, is a bonus during meditation. I sometimes light a candle, perhaps a scented one, and I can use it to close the meditation. I have only used incense a few times because I found it overpowering and therefore distracting. Scented candles are usually more gentle. Obviously, great care must be taken to ensure that any candle is placed in a safe position, away from draughts or anything that might catch a light or might knock it over. Must always be placed in an appropriate candle holder. I prefer scented candles that come in their own tin holder, which I then place for safety within a bowl. Be wise, be safe. I have done meditation in groups where Tibetan bells have been used to bring a meditation to a close. They have a wonderful vibration, and it feels as if the air is being cleansed around you. I have a music tape where they appear in one section, and during meditation, I have found that they help me to clear the junk thoughts crowding my mind and redirect my thoughts and relax more deeply. Position. The main criterion for meditation is to be comfortable. This will enable you to forget your physical body and your surroundings. To begin with, choose the room or location in which you think you will relax the most. If you can, someone once said to me, I'd love to meditate, but I can't sit cross-legged. This completely surprised me and brought home to me the general misconception about meditation. I think that those people patiently fishing by the side of a lake, lost in a world of their own, are doing a form of meditation without calling it so. I do not think it makes any difference if you sit in a chair, lie down, or sit cross-legged, or manage to contort even that position into a yoga one. I have even meditated standing up on occasions. After all, Tai Chi is a meditation, a moving meditation on your feet. You sit in a chair, try and make sure that you sit with your spine as straight as possible. Use cushions to support your back if necessary. The same goes for sitting cross-legged. If I am in this position, I sit on a soft cushion with my back supported by the side of the bed. Sitting as straight as you can comfortably manage helps to release the rib cage and lets you have more space to breathe. It makes it more effortless. If you sit on a chair or lie down on the bed, do not cross your legs. This disrupts the flow of energy as well as your circulation. Do not cross your arms either, but find a comfortable position for them. Rest them on the arms of your chair or put your hands on each of your thighs. Sometimes I put my right hand under my left hand in my lap. Sometimes that just feels right and helps me feel centered. I often start a meditation cross-legged, but feel one of my legs go numb after a while, so I have to stretch it out to the side. This does not matter and does not disrupt the meditation at all. You are allowed to move in meditation. You do not have to sit stock still. If you need to scratch your leg, do it. You can also buy or make, if you are handy with a saw, a Zen bench. These are small wooden sloping stools that enable you to kneel so that your back is straight, but your weight is taken by sitting on the sloping stool. Your lower legs slip comfortably under the seat of the stool. You will often see them advertised in the back of New Age magazines in their classified sections. Breathing. The first thing we do when we come into the world is to take our first breath. The breath is the first step you take to withdraw from it. Most of us are lazy about breathing. I include myself in this, but taking the trouble to breathe more slowly and more deeply will really help you relax. In antenatal classes, it is widely recognized that the breath control can substantially assist relaxation and in the birth process. It has health benefits too in getting more oxygen around the bloodstream. It slows down your heart rate and can be used to assist you in concentrating and letting go of the myriad of thoughts crowding your mind. If my mind does wander into trivia, which it irritatingly does sometimes, with a few deep breaths, I can let go again and get back into a meditative state once more. You can use the breath to really let go of all those troubles and pressures on you so that you can rise above them. This is sometimes described as being part of the process of raising your consciousness. And in a sense, you are. You are leaving the earthly problems behind, down there, so to speak, so that you can just be you, free from it all to embrace your higher self, the real you. Now I only have to take one or two deep breaths and I can completely let go. So remember, get your posture right, be comfortable, and do not skip the instructions on the breath at the beginning of the exercises in part 3. Until you feel you can really let go and relax in your own way, the breath is there to help you. Relaxation. Having done all this, to begin with, you may wage a battle with yourself, get into a fluster because you still cannot relax. Do not worry. Do not allow yourself to be put off. The lower mind will throw anything at you. It seems to stop you from releasing yourself from its grasp. It can be tenacious in its grip. The best advice I can give you is either go back to concentrating on the breath in the exercises I have given you, or just ask inwardly for help to get rid of the thoughts plaguing you, and help will be given. Just go with them. You may just have to accept that today is not the day for you to slip away, or you could just let the thoughts come and go anyway. I confess that there have been times when my head has been so full of nonsense, worries, and dreams that I have sat for half an hour or so unable to get away from them. Sometimes that is as far as I've got. Others, suddenly it is as if the mind has got tired of its own effort and a wonderful stillness has come upon me. No thoughts, no feelings, just being. I have gone into a deep meditative state without really trying. So do not try too hard. Do not be intense about it. One stage will lead to the next. Furthermore, to begin with, do not meditate for too long a time if possible. Remember, it is the start of a process. The point of stillness is one of the goals in meditation. It may only be for a flash of a second, or it may last a little longer, but it is truly blissful and worth the efforts. You may, in this stillness, experience nothing but a sort of celestial peace, but it is like a glimpse of something precious and wondrous that you must see and experience more of. You might have something more profound revealed to you, or you may be simply just amazed that for the time, for ages, you felt truly relaxed because your busy mind had finally shut up. Furthermore, when the conscious mind really lets go, the body will be allowed to heal itself more effectively. When you are asleep at night, just think of the healing that takes place in the physical body while the mind is away with the fairies. I am not saying you need to have no thoughts at all to be in a meditative state. This point of stillness does not happen at the time. Sometimes you might make more sense of the thoughts that crowd your mind. You might realize the meaning, the significance of what you are thinking of. The thoughts may also help you realize an aspect of your true self, or what you have to let go of or deal with in your physical life. You may experience a deeper wisdom of extraordinary profundity, perhaps about the illusion of life here on earth. That life is topsy-turvy, that we are spirit first, physical body second, that we are in truth all one, individuated beings of light, but all of the one light. But these are other stories. See, the picture gets ever wider. Through the heart, wisdom and truth comes. The meditation exercises I have given you will help you build a temple in your heart for you to retreat to learn in, to rebuild in, to create in, and to express and feel deepest love. Visualization and meditation is a way of controlling and directing thought. In this creation, something may be revealed to you in the same way as if you were free of thought. At that point of stillness, you may still be in a deep meditative state.
even though your mind is working. Because you have let go of the trivia and troubles that crowd your mind and truly relax, I must add that you can be in deep meditation and still be aware of the sounds around you. You do not have to be out completely as if you were asleep. You may still remain very much in the physical. Indeed, you may need to move a part of your body within a meditation exercise, as in exercise 4. This often occurs in self-healing meditation. I have not included in these exercises any chanting to help you let go and relax. This method is wonderful, and I have been to a healing workshop using chanting and was astonished at its power. It is, however, very difficult to fully get across the sound and effect in a book. I hope that this is something that may, at some time, feel right for you to explore. I have chanted using the Om in one long breath and using the sounds Ora in one breath again and again for about 3 or 4 minutes on my own in groups. It is a lovely way to relax. Visualization and thought. It is in this lovely, relaxed state that you may become aware of the light inside of you. I have given you exercises to help you explore and to develop this. This is the energy of life itself. It is love. It is divine. It is healing energy. I have given you exercises to use it for your self-healing. All the exercises involve visualization. In other words, using your imagination, creating pictures within your mind's eye of what you want to happen, what you want to see. Do not doubt the creative power of this tool. Always remember, thoughts create reality. Do not doubt this. After all, consider this. If we are a product of God's imagination, we are therefore a part of God Himself. Follows that He cannot be separate from us, and we therefore have His attributes and His creative power. Are we not therefore many gods? You do not have to be in a meditative state to create with your imagination, your thoughts, a physical reality of what is in your head. We are only just on the threshold of discovering this. For example, we are now realizing the value of positive thought with regard to a state of well-being in the same way that our negativity can make us ill. Our bodies are full of the energy of our thoughts. We have to be careful how we think. Matthew Manning, a well-known healer, once showed me in a presentation a revelatory exercise that makes a he did not know to stand in front of him, and then he asked whether he was right or left-handed. He asked him to put out his arm horizontally and to think of something positive, something that would make him happy, bring him joy. When he had this thought in his mind, Matthew told the man that he was going to force his arm to go back down by his side, and the man was to try to resist him. Try as he could, Matthew could not budge the arm. Then the man put out his strongest arm, and Matthew got him to fix in his mind a negative thought, something that would make him sad and miserable. When he had done this, Matthew told the man to again resist Matthew's efforts to force that arm back to the man's side. There was hardly any resistance. You too can try this out for yourself and see the extraordinary effects of the attitude of mind. Like attracts like. Think negative, think negative thoughts and a negative reality you will create for yourself. You will create illness, disease, eventually within your physical body because your mind is not in harmony in this state. Think right thoughts, think happy thoughts, think positive and believe in it. I have learned to start each day afresh as if it were a new life. Learn to let go of the past with joy. Live each day as it were your last. Live life joyfully. You are special. You deserve it. You are meant to be happy. Happiness, holiness, wholeness, health. Apply love to your issues and see what happens. Above all, let fear go. It filters the light, love. Fear is man's greatest enemy, more than anyone else or anything else. It is important to let it go and any other negative feelings on a day-to-day basis. Do not be a victim of your own thought process. Take what you need from life's experiences. Check out what you do not. If there are negative incidents in your life, recreate them into positive ones. Think, if I could raise my head and peer above the parapet of the castle of my physical world, what would I see? Would I view things differently? Looking down on it and beyond the horizons, what opportunity have I been given? What is the other perspective on what is happening? In this way, it may be easier to look not at what you have lost in any bad experience, but what you have gained. It is hard, I know, to get one's head above the parapet times and keep one's vision clear, but meditation helps that. When you create in your imagination a picture, you are creating a reality within. When you see the light within or a picture of something, it is real. It is happening. You are creating energy, and more advanced spiritual teaching will explain how this thought form can come into being in the physical world. Thoughts are things, thought energy, they do not stay in your physical skull. These energies forms are sent out into the universe, energy matrix, if you like, and can create form, become manifest. I shall never forget witnessing this energy when I walked through my own anger. I was furious about something and was amazed to see sparks of light all around me. It stopped me in my tracks. Once one of my daughters had left something at school and was howling with fury. I saw these same sparks of light being thrown off her as I walked past her. I had walked through them. So sparks really do fly in an argument. It is not just a saying. As I have indicated, creating with your imagination is a powerful tool and can only be used with love. To do otherwise would harm you. Do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. In thought, word, and deed is a statement loaded with spiritual meaning and must be obeyed. Words are powerful expressions of thoughts. They carry the energy of your thoughts. They are a manifestation of them. So be very careful to with what you say. That is why positive daily affirmations are so powerful and can really help in the healing process. An example of a positive affirmation is, I am well, I am healthy. I learned the hard way about the effect of negative and positive affirmations. After the breakdown of my marriage, my self-esteem was at an all-time low.